Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Restorations and Repairs. Check it out. I got another scan tool here, and this is like a improved version. I think you guys are going to dig this. It's a big heavy one this time, that's for sure. So if you follow my channel, you'll know that I own a Launch Pro3S Plus. Well, now they've kind of upgraded it. So, well, let me show you this. That is the upgrade. Instead of just a Bluetooth dongle, we now have a J tool for programming. And so we are clear and free to do a deeper level programming if we need to reprogram modules, stuff like that. And so that is why I decided to upgrade my already awesome tool to a newer version. It comes in this nice blow molded case here. And it's a beautiful setup. So they have made some changes here. This is mine came in a red case. This one is all black. Still has a nice camera on the back, and Launch still has the kickstand on the back here. And then we have our I/O ports up top. If I can get them open there. Yeah, one USB-C and one regular USB in here. Cool. And then if we open these, we see where the change is taking place here. So we have a J tool, and this is our programmer here, the Smart Link, and you can see we're doing hardwire into it. We have the ability to do, and they gave us a good amount of wireless Ethernet cable so we can do programming. And then on this side over here, we've got a bunch of little bits and pieces here. I'll go ahead and pop that out. Get it all out of here. So we do have a USB-C cable as well. Here is our connector for the J tool, OBD2, right? It does come with change outs for the different countries, but it is set up for US and has our USB-C charger right here. And then we do also have this, which is a programming cable. If you want to do updates, usually it goes through that, links between the main tool and the J tool. So you know, you can trust Bluetooth, you can trust wireless for a lot of things. Programming $1,000 modules, not one of those things, not for me anyway. So let's close that up for a second here. Let's see what else came with it. Of course, it has a manual as well. I'll show you that here. This, I believe, is an OBD1 adapter kit. Pretty sure that's what we got here. Awesome. So this also comes with that, the ability to work on those old cars, man. Like, I remember needing all of these old connectors, European stuff and some Asian stuff that still prefers to go in to the main system. That's Mercedes there. I think that's Beamer. That's Chrysler. Yep, Chrysler Jeep. What's this one? Ooh, that's Toyota under the engine. This is also the Half Moon for Toyota. Man, I may be losing it, but I haven't lost it apparently. Ooh, man, as I say that, I don't know what that one is. I can't remember that one. That is, oh gosh, Ford. Man, it's been a while. There's your GM 12 pin. And I don't remember this one either. Let's see here. Chrysler, Dodge, yeah. Okay. And what else we got here? These are probably the adapters that you'll need. Yeah, so more adapters here. We got some OBD2 to, you know, extensions. And yep. And then the other one is our power, because OBD1 didn't power through the connector, so you had to have power going to it, to the tool, in order to make that work. And this didn't come with a manual, it just came with this packing list. Overseas passenger car non-standard connector list. Mercedes-Benz, Nissan, another Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Chrysler 6-pin, Ford 6-in-1, GM 12-pin, Honda 3 diagnostic connector, Kia 20, Mitsubishi 12 and 16, Toyota 17, Toyota 22, double clamp, cigarette lighter, and a couple of fuses. So yeah, there's a reason this is their top of the line setup here. You could buy this kit and pretty much work on everything and program everything too. This is so I have the Pro3S Plus. This is the Pro3S Plus Elite. They're ultra top of the line because it has the J tool, and this is a really nicely done manual. Yeah. So J2534 programming, and it's showing you, USB cable, how to go through there. ECU programming. Awesome. And all in good English, and about 44 pages of it. Then we have another manual here that is the quick start guide to programming. That is 5 pages in English, but it just talks about, the cloud storage and making sure you actually use the USB connector for this one. So again, like it's just what I was just talking about earlier here. Diagnostic cable, and if you're just going to do diagnostics, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, USB are all optional. But if I'm using this, you want to have it plugged in. And this is also going to be out on the internet for, to access programming. App downloads to get your software. I mean, this is some serious stuff. Now, I don't have any cars to program today, so we won't be doing any actual programming, but that's pretty cool. So we have 2 different things as far as how to get your software. The launch-specific tool, launch-specific J tool, and then we have our smart link, power adapter, and we can go out on the internet to get the software, or we are going into the internet through a hardwire connection as well. So you have that choice as far as getting your software. So x431 Pro 3 5th generation overseas version. All right, well, not today, but what we're going to do with this, and I've had some questions of people before. So like you have, and this I believe is like launch's only real issue if you ask me. The problem I have with them is everything's the x431. And I think that confuses people because they're like, well, what's the difference between the Elite, the 431 Elite, the S3 Plus Elite? Like where are the differences, and like how do I know which one is for me? And so I happen to have this tool now, and I also have a x431 Elite, which is slightly smaller than this, but like functionally, you'd be surprised at how similar they are. But there is a huge price difference. Obviously, the Elite's not going to do ECM reprogramming. It can do some programming, as I've shown in videos, programming keys, changing customization, resetting stuff. But in order to actually flash a module, you need to have a programming tool. That's not the only difference. So I'll make a follow-up video to this later on that talks about all the differences that you actually have between the two. And there's about a dozen or so, and I'll put them side by side and do that. And then, of course, I'll do a programming video on this tool later on as well. For today, let's go ahead and get this thing out to a car. Well, first I'll get it registered, and then we'll get it out to a car, and we'll go through all the features and functions it has, minus the programming. All right, so we have the tool completely updated, and it is time to check it out. Went ahead and did system update. You can see you go in here, current version, check version, all that, right? And then there was tons of updates, tons of them. I guess before I get into the x431 software, I just want to point out this is an unlocked Android tablet. We can go in here and you can get some specs out of this thing here. Storage wise, let's take a look at that if I can find it. So 64 gig of storage is what's coming with this, and about half of it's free for recordings and stuff like that. And it just says Auto Smart Diagnostics, so it's a little harder to find exactly what processor and stuff, but you might be able to go out on the internet and locate that information if you want to. Android 10, so definitely still supported. Pretty nice. And then of course you can add, the App Store is in here as well, so you could add whatever you wanted to. And there's a lot. So we have other stuff like the programs that you can buy, like the oscilloscope and all that. They're already pre-installed, just you have to go out and buy those things. I'm looking to get the tire pressure sensor programmer and the oscilloscope for this as well. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll log in to X431 software. We're at version 8.00.016. And these three we'll play with a little bit outside in the car. EV is also in there. We have its own spot for EV repairs. Diagnose, battery pack detection, compressor testing, DC to DC tests for EV, onboard charging system tests, hybrid generators, so like the earlier style of EV, which I kind of prefer. I like those easy, you know, massive alternator looking things, and 48 volts is a lot safer to play with, but that's kind of gone away, unfortunately. Coolant replacement and high voltage power failure testing. So definitely if you're into, or if you're getting into working with electrics, and you ought to be at this point, then this tool will cover that stuff. All right, special functions, there are a bunch. If I can log in, there we go. The internet's not hooked up out here, it's too far out right now. But we do have a bunch: ABS bleeding, AC relearn, adaptive lighting, AdBlue, air fuel, air level calibration, battery matching, brake reset, clutch matching. I mean, it just goes. Coding ECUs. Coding ECUs is, marrying an ECU to a car. Crank position sensor. I'm not going to read all these off to you. Power balance monitoring. DPF regen stuff. Motor angle calibration, so we can do blend door calibrations, immobilizer resets, injector coating, cruise control. I mean, it goes on. Steering angle, of course, oil maintenance reset, start stop, sunroof, tire reset, transport mode, and even windows. So plenty of functions available. A true professional level scan tool here, obviously, and this is their premier thing. Software update. When you first get these out of the box, there is a lot of updates that need to occur, so be prepared to spend like a good hour letting it do its thing. Diagnostic kit, this is where we can see some of the other stuff here. So we have vehicle coverage, CAN bus pin detection, CAN scope, diagnostic software clear, fixed connector firmware, sample. This is kind of nice. So not sure what you're looking at. If you're a mid-level tech buying a tool like this and you're trying to do some in-depth diag, and you're like, I know that this, this O2 waveform or whatever, air fuel waveform is here, but like, what's it supposed to be? Here's some samples here, so that really can help you. Voltage check, reset, diagnostic history, all that good stuff. So pretty comprehensive there as well. Feedback, if you click on that, you're getting into the system where, occasionally when they do an update, what usually happens is they fix about 30 things and they break one. And I don't know how that works out, but it usually seems to be the case. So anytime you get into feedback, it's an opportunity for you to let the engineers know, hey, I was working on this 2018 Hyundai Genesis, whatever, Lexus, whatever, and so on and so forth. This particular function no longer works. Manually adjust blend doors or whatever. And so they let them know. That allows them to have the opportunity to go in there and fix it for the next release update. And they're pretty on the ball. I mean, some companies, they're like, good, great. Snap-on, for instance, they're like, hey, you just wait for into the next quarter. We'll see what we can do. But these guys are doing updates like every week. Not going to click on them all, but there are some updates there that you can purchase separately. And like, I get this question often, so I want to clarify. The mall is like, honestly, it's for like foreign cars, cars that here in the United States, or I would imagine over in Europe, that we're not working on. They're more for the Chinese makes and models, and some unusual stuff there, which I think is kind of, it's cool they have it. It's nothing that I've looked through it on, and I've never seen anything that seemed of interest to me. Launch Academy is like, hey, how do I use this tool? And it's really in-depth videos and like all kinds of stuff. I don't think it'll go out because I'm not on the net, but let's see how much of it's local. Yeah, it's not available right now, but we can play with that real quick in the car if we want to. Repair info, also really cool. Training videos, Facebook, websites, you can see here. I mean, it just really gets into in-depth stuff here. User info, that's where you put in your shop info, your name, all that. You can get into tech info here as well. And we also have VCI, like I have mine, but it's not plugged in right now. We can also add a secondary one. Profile is your name, address, all that stuff. And then that's the rest of it, self-explanatory. Settings is, do I want to change, here's my information that I would put in here for the shop information, so it shows up when I send somebody a message. They do have a wireless printer you can do on it. You can clear it out. You could redo, like if you're having glitches for some reason, you could always just do a hard reset on this thing. So all that's available as well. And then this is just tool information, probably with software version, check for updates, blah, 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 right? So you go there. All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move out to the car. I've got an older car I wanna play with. It's older, but it does have a ton of computers, so I always like to play with this because Volvo in particular is a crotchety car, especially the P2 platform, what few are left on the road. And they're angry all the time. They have issues with communication all the time, and scan tools seem to have a hard time with it. So I am gonna particularly pick on that car today because I wanna see how well this thing performs when working with something from that era. So let's head on out to the car and check it out. All right, and so here we go. Here we're going to get into it. I guess I'll just show you the software update and the mall real quick since we do have Wi-Fi here. And so there are actually updates, not too many, just from the last week here that have come in. And I think it's important for y'all to realize that, like launch, like I said, some scan tool companies, they'll give you like a quarterly update if you're lucky. And this one is not like that, so I appreciate that about them. We'll go into the mall so I can show you also, some people are concerned like, oh, you have to buy everything separately. This is your renewal here. I'm going to give you a hint on launch renewals because people are like, well, that's kind of expensive. First of all, you're getting 2 years of free updates with this. But second of all, if you go on King Bolin's website, you can actually get a much better deal on renewals. That's just a little pro tip. And then you also have the opportunity to say, hey, I'm only going to use some of this stuff. And so your prices go down from there. So you can do that as well. Single software, they don't even have anything right now. And if we get into the store here, this is what I'm talking about. These vehicles are not vehicles that are sold in the United States. So if you think like you're going to buy a car and then you're going to have to buy additional software for it, that is not true. Nissan, but we're talking about the Chinese version of Nissan, Kia Plus, Hyundai Plus. Those are all the not European, not American, not South American. These are all China, Korea, and places like that. Now McLaren apparently does show up in there. That's a new one for me. But if you want to buy a McLaren, apparently you do have to pay for it. And Lotus is also an initial dollar. But 12 months for $63, that's not a terrible price anyway. Other than that, though, I don't see any vehicles sold in America. Yeah, I don't see any sold in America in here. So you're pretty well good. Tesla's included, and no one on earth owns one, but VinFast is also included in here for US stuff. Other goods, let's see what's in there just real quick. European license database, so if you type in a license plate, it comes up. And so function, those are extra. Wow, they're expensive too. Okay, so here in the US, that's all included in here. All right, so let's get out of here and let's get into diagnosis. We're going to go into local diag. All right, so here we are in the main page here, and we are looking at a Volvo. So we're going to scroll down and find ourselves a Volvo. Polestar, vehicle coverage, and we're going to go out and reach out and touch someone here. It's got some interesting sounds here. All right, there we go. And let's see if it can figure out what car we got here when it does its manual search for it. Well, I hear stuff activating already in the car, so it's definitely reaching out to see what systems are included. There we go. So we have our VIN number, 2004. And we do have topography, so we can get into that. And let's do smart detection and see if it can roll through here and find out which systems have issues. Eight codes in the CEM, holy cow. Infotainment system should give an error because like not equipped, because I've replaced that. Central climate control, upper electronic module. These cars are notorious for that. I mean, look at this. Yes, Volvo. Gosh, I love it. I love it. And so some of these are not equipped, you know, like this is not a diesel car. We didn't get diesel Volvos here in America past what, 84, 86, something like that. I remember when the last one disappeared off of the showroom floors, and I remember when the last one disappeared out of our shop. They were okay, you know. I think the Volkswagen sold them the motor. They slapped a couple extra cylinders on it, and we're like, yeah, we can do this. But honestly, those were gutless cars. Not too good. All right, so here it is. It's done. And wow, there's a bunch. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. All right, so it's saying this is before and after. Let's take a look at diagnostic plan. We got audio missing, climate control, SRS, that's a new one. Door module missing, steering wheel module issues, upper control module, faulty element on the driver's seat. So this car does have a faulty driver's heat seater, so we can figure out what's going on with that if we want to. Man, all kinds of stuff. The air sensor for the automatic climate control is non-functional. Evap sensor too high. Sun signal. Wow, interesting. Wow. Yeah, there's a bunch. Huh. Mirror motor issues. Wow, just look at this. So every system it dug deep into. We got a CAT code now. Very cool. All right, and so let's go into the system list, right? And we can go in here and like, I don't know what's going on. Let's go to communication with that. If you press that little button right there, we get into Google and it immediately goes in here. Here we are, S60 communication, what's going on? So we can click on that. Now, I'm not a huge fan of using forms to diagnose problems, but it is a way to diagnose problems. So here's what the guy did. Here's what's happened. Right, here's some ideas. And then that's the problem with forms, is there's never a follow-up. Usually somebody fixes it and that's it. They never actually come back and say, hey, what's going on? Here's how to fix it. A couple of videos, I'm all about that as a way to fix it, because you know those guys are actually following through. Where forms are mostly questions, videos are mostly answers. Does that make sense? All right, well, we'll get back out of that, and let's see what other ones we have. Let's go to one of the ECM ones. Oh, we got a CAT efficiency code. Let's see what it says about that. It's not good news, I can promise you. Yeah, so it's saying, hey, your CAT's not good anymore. It's got some issues. And of course, there's people who put acetone and stuff like that, and they're trying to get that thing back to life, but it just never really works out that way. All right. And then ADOS is also here, special functions, manual operations, and so on and forth. Let's going to get out of this right now. And then when we look at this, we can say enter. So let's go into engine, and we can read the fault codes directly in each module if you want to. And here we are. And so we have some issues here. Brake pedal sensor, that one worries me. I'll have to double check the brake lights are working on this. But here's one, right? So let's go into help here. And it's going to give you a short breakdown. Cruise control turns off when this happens. We could have a bad module. We could have this. Cruise control doesn't function at all, right? Code search, that's again going to take us back out onto the web, right? And then we also have fix. Let's see what the fix is. X431 fix. So this is their own database, kind of like, all right, so workshop data, which is, we talked about it earlier, is going to give you everything. Haynes Workshop Data Car Edition is accurate. So we're literally getting into here. We could sign up for this. I'm not going to do that right now, but it's just so awesome that they offer that. So you have workflow, tickets, RO, estimating, and repair information available all at your fingertips. That is a huge, huge deal, man. I'm really digging that. Okay. And okay, so we can get out of that. We could also do a report, which I think I've shown you on some of these. Pre-repair, Volvo, mileage, right? We hit OK. And we're going to have our shop name. We'll skip that for right now. And here it is. And we can email this, and we can save it. All right, here's the car. Here's the mileage. This is beforehand. Here's our problem. And we can save that file. And we can also share it to the customer by email, right? Share. Right? Pretty cool stuff there. All right, let's get out of that. Let's get into, well, I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and clear those codes. Now I have the car running, so I don't know, sure. All right, and then we can read data stream here. Let's pick a couple of weird ones. Well, I'm curious about my brake light switch. And we can look at deviation of a cam. Engine, let's see here, fuel pump. Well, we'll look at engine speed and injection time. Okay. So we come up here and we've got our values. I'm going to go ahead and hit the gas. Okay, so reaction time is right on par with what you'd expect out of a high-end scan tool. Hit the brakes. Okay, so it is registering the brake switch is currently working. And then we also have the way to look at this through charts. Give it gas, she opens and closes. Nice. And this one's currently in degrees, you can see there. Engine speed, RPM. We'll do the same thing here. So, pretty cool. And again, we can compare it. We can look at what, at idling, we can look at what a normal one would be. Right? So here's our normal readings. And it even is giving us, hey, look, this thing is not right. It's too high, it's too low. That's within spec, that's within spec. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So the compare sample for guys and gals that are, you know, in the business and want to learn it but don't know it all yet, and no one ever does, so don't let them lie to you, then this is a great way for you to get the answers you need without having to then go back out and search for it. Cool. All right, let's back out of that. Let's take a look at special function on this. Reset the adaptation of the throttle. Quick test of cam, fuel tank system, so an evap test. Quick test of the cam control solenoid, and then check our readiness codes. The engine's running, so I'm not going to go into any of those, but those are all really cool. And then actuation test, what can we turn on? Holy cow. So we got a lot of stuff here. Nice. Very cool. All right, so you get that. All right, let's get into some lower end system here. Oh no. Let's get into something lower here. Yeah, I guess we do want to get out of this. So let's get into, let's go back to our system list. Let's take a look at that climate control module. It had some codes, right? All right, air quality. And again, we could go out onto Mitchell On Demand, or I guess it's Hayes on this one here, but they're fixed. We could do a code search, right? Freeze frames are not lit up on these, so nothing, when these codes set, we didn't get anything that was all that great on there. But let's go back out of that and let's see what we have for special functions here. Self-adjustment of the blend door stops. Let's go ahead and run that. And it is a ECC. After replacing control motor, right, we're going to do that. Well, this one actually does click. So activate, wait at least 30 seconds, ignition off for 1 minute, then start engine. We've done that. And we're going to start the activation. Hopefully you can hear them. It is currently opening and closing all the blend doors on this car, all the mode doors, so that it can find 0 and 100. All right, so that took about 1.5 minutes and everything checked out on that. Let's also get into programming. Right, so we have electronic climate control, and here's with the programming that we can do with the CCM on this, right? Programming the park heater to frost air distribution, blower run-on, so if you live in a humid climate, after you shut the car off, you know, this tells the cabin fan to turn on and blow off any moisture that may be in there so you don't end up with musty, moldy smell. So pretty cool stuff there as well. And let's get out of this. We'll go into one more system. And let's see, what system do we want to screw around with? Power seat module, let's go into that. All right, so let's read the fault codes in that. It had that seat heater. Memory button too slow right now, so the seat heater didn't come back up here. And we could read the data stream on that. So motor, if I want to operate the motor forward and backwards. So if you're driving in a vehicle and, oh, that's right. If you're trying to figure out whether you have a bad motor or if you have a bad switch or whatever you have, I can touch these switches and I know if this is not moving, I know the switch is good. And I know power to the switch is good, so I'm looking at a motor problem or a cable problem. So pretty cool. All right, well, I guess that's about it. I don't really know what else I need to get into here with this stuff, but I'm going to make a follow-up on this probably a month or two down the road here. I want to also talk to you about the difference between the Pro S3 Plus and the Pro S3 Plus Elite, because this one here is considerably more expensive. There are some significant differences, the biggest being the J-tool programming, but there's some other differences in there as well. So I will leave a link to where you can pick one of these beauties up, and I will see you next time. Take care.